Hey, AfterBuzzers, welcome to the Camping After Show. We are going to be covering Season 1, Episode 3, Fishing Trip. Got some fun stuff coming at you. Carlene speaks. We hear from Carlene. We know Walt is for sure not getting any, and we're going to have a new fun special segment, so stick around.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes! As Amy mentioned at the top, a very Jandice song.
Yes. I think that we should just try to get in touch with Juliette Lewis to just stand here and just rock out.
I wonder if she
opening.
would come on the after show.
Juliette?
She's pretty outstanding in this show, I gotta say.
She is.
Very funny.
I'm pretty obsessed.
Pretty obsessed with Juliette Lewis. This whole cast. It's a lot of fun performances.
It's incredible.
Yes.
I'm also pretty obsessed with you, Jeff.
Oh, Amy, you too. It's good to see you. It's been a whole week.
So happy we're here.
So happy we're here. We're just talking about a little Halloween weekend before we went on air.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, having some fun Halloween gags. I
Yes.
wish it's too bad it's a little too soon. I should have gone as Jandice this year.
Oh, man, I could make a good Walt, I think.
I think so.
I'm wearing a cardigan. For those of you guys who are listening in the podcast, I'm wearing a very Walt outfit, I think, today. So
I think you could definitely pull off Walt.
You know, if anyone compares me to David Tennant in any capacity, I will take it as the highest compliment.
Oh,
so,
as you should.
Yes.
As you should. Mic drop.
Mic
You're done.
drop. Absolutely.
Well, Jeff.
Well, Amy.
We have a fun show today. What were your overall thoughts on this episode?
I was saying at the top before we went on air, I thought it was good. I think I understand why this show might not be for everyone. It's not the most plot forward show. It is kind of a group of great actors hanging out, which personally I'm fine with that. I find the show very funny. You know, this show keeps getting accusations of unlikable characters, but if they're unlikable characters but they're making me laugh and I find them to be interesting and watchable, I'm here for it. And for the most part, I think that's true. I will say I might have enjoyed a bit more narrative thrust in this episode. You know, sometimes I just feel like I'm watching like a documentary of my aunt and her friends traveling and camping. But I am anticipating that we're going to see more things actually happening soon.
I think so too. And you know, it's funny when you're mentioning like just that it's like this fun group of great actors.
Yeah.
It made me think of today. I saw that Juliette Lewis had on Instagram put up yesterday, if you need to get away from the crazy to a fun gang of fun, laughable crazy, then this show is for you. So
I don't know though. I love Juliette Lewis. You know, I love you on this show. I'm not sure this feels like an antidote to like the toxic attitudes we're seeing in the world. Even though I love camping, like I don't picture this as like an escape. Like, oh, I'm so tired of these dummies in the news. I'll watch camping instead.
Let's get away from all this negative rhetoric and watch Catherine.
Yeah. Catherine McSorley Jodell.
Every time. Full name.
Baby. Yeah. What did you think?
No, I agree. I think, this one hit a little bit of a lull for me from the first two. But I also think that I feel like they're still building a lot right now, and they're giving us a couple more nuggets in each episode.
Yeah.
So I liked a lot of the different dynamics that were happening. I am always a fan of episodes like this, whenever you have a big cast, where you get to see different groups of people together that you don't always see together.
And to credit the show, I do feel like every actor got a moment, which, you know, it's, I think sometimes with ensemble cast, because this is really 8 actors that the writing has to service. Some actors get sidelined, and I feel like for the most part, everyone's getting their chance.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Exactly. And so, I mean, I think tonight I kind of want to break it down kind of almost by, you know, these little groups, these little offshoots, because we had, you know, a few different storylines happening. So first, Carlene speaks. Last week I was talking about how badly I wanted to see more from Catherine's sister.
Yeah.
And I was very intrigued by her, and she did not disappoint. She's a wackadoo.
She's a wackadoo.
Wackadoo.
Yeah. I would love to see the show about their household growing up, because Catherine McSorley Jodell and Carlene, no last name. It is funny, on the HBO cast list, Catherine is the only one with a full name, which I kind of love. It's like Lena and Jenny, where like she's the only one who really needs a full name, because she's just the only kind of person that would always use her full name.
Agreed.
Anyway, I like Ione Skye in this performance. It is just like a little off balance, like it's fun to just kind of watch her like wide-eyed weirdness.
Yes.
And I liked the turn of her haircut actually being kind of good.
Yes.
I didn't expect that.
Oh yeah, I did not know which way that was going.
Yeah.
But to your point of being off balance, she actually had that line of like how I need to be tense, otherwise I get wobbly.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I thought of that.
Wheels
Literally
wobble.
and figuratively. Yeah.
But yeah, I think putting together two people like that in a scene is always going to be so much fun because Jandice is like her own kind of out there, and Carlene, we're seeing more and more of her different kind of own kind of out there.
Yeah, and I'm sensing that Carlene sort of needs like a spiritual leader. Like I feel like she's a little lost right now, and she's the kind of person who would like turn on Sirius XM and just like go all into whoever's talking about life at that moment.
Yes.
I'm not sure Janice is the right spiritual leader for her right now, but it's a great haircut.
Exactly. And I think comedically for us, it's going to be the right partnership.
Very entertaining. Yeah, it's a good partnership.
For Carlene's life, probably not.
Yeah.
But for us,
it's
great.
wonderful.
Solid.
I do want to credit the writers, though, because I think in another version of this show, I think at least I was expecting a terrible haircut and like, oh, this is going to go badly. So it was nice to have that little surprise of like, no, looks good.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of, we talked about it a little bit last week, that's kind of what, Lena and Jenny are very much known for in a lot of their shows. They're not going for the big laugh. They're not going for that, big crazy thing. They're going for those smaller little nuances and lines and character quirks.
Yeah, surprising true to life moments.
Yeah.
And I like too that this haircut was good because it gives Janice a little more credit. Like she might have these off the wall wackadoo ideas when she's talking, but like what if there's a world in which they're somewhat valid? Like what if there's a world when like really she did need a haircut and it is going to help her and Joe's sex life? And it sounds like it might because Joe liked the haircut. So,
he did.
Yeah.
He was just so kind, so loving and warm.
A very very vocal embrace of her new look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
Looks nice. That's what I told my wife on her wedding day. She came down the aisle. I stood there stone faced and she showed up and I said, "You look nice."
Well, there we go.
Then I kissed the bride.
And we say chivalry is dead. This is...
I'm not wearing my wedding ring today either. I forgot. So
how dare you?
Sorry, boo. I'm 0 for 2.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, so then from them, like we were talking about a little bit. So with her hubby, he was on the boys' trip.
Yes.
The boys' fishing trip. Which turned into a real disaster.
Yes.
So that was kind of the the conflict, the major conflict of the show. I think it was interesting. I liked that they kind of just stated their storyline of like, no, these guys don't even like me. I'm kind of the odd man out. And then they played into it because you were kind of seeing that, and it was kind of like this weird kind of dynamic with the guys there.
Right.
And I like that they just kind of called attention to it and were like, oh yeah, he probably would feel kind of like, what am I doing here? Yeah,
it's nice that we're finally giving these characters like roles within the social group. Like, to a certain extent, if you're going to do a show about 8 people camping, you sort of want to see like the Lord of the Flies-esque hierarchy form and like see the role that each of them in the tribe serve.
Yes.
So Joe is, kind of the outcast. If this were an island, I do think he would be the first one voted off.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, he would. Yeah, I'm pretty sure after the little chocolate fiasco, he would probably be packing his bags.
Not to jump ship, because I'm sure it's on your agenda, but and speaking of the little chocolate, do we want to talk about that now, or do we want to save?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because we're talking about Joe, so I wanted to bring this up. I'm going to run the risk right now of being the straight white mansplainer in the way I assess this. So you've been warned, and I might be super wrong here, but I felt like Nina Joy was a little cold in her acceptance of his apology. I don't know if you felt that or not. And again, maybe this is my toxic white male masculinity coming into play. But, and I'm saying that in earnest, because it was a pretty egregious mistake he made, but I felt like she was a little unforgiving.
Yeah, I kind of thought she was going to be a little bit more accepting. I give her a pass, though, because the way he did it was like the worst way you can apologize.
That's fair.
Of saying like, sorry, I was joking.
Yeah, you're right.
So I was like, oh, good. He's being a man about it. He's apologizing. Oh, he's just saying he's joking. He's backtracking. He's laughing about it. Oh, this isn't going well.
It's a very Joe way to handle anything, right? Even if his intentions are good, his execution is so poor.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. So I think, the thought is there, which is why it's too bad that he can't quite get to that next spot, because I think maybe she would have been a little bit more willing to accept it. But yeah, I think I will justify the coldness with what a terrible apology it was.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right. I do like the tension, though, just between him and
I've got you.
Yes,
Brett
thank you.
Gelman's character George.
I always just want to call him Brett and
Exactly,
George. Yeah.
I know. It's tempting to just use the actor names because we feel like we know them.
Well,
But
we're all
yes,
good friends, of course.
We're all good friends. That is George, though.
Yeah, so I like that they are kind of building that tension, even
It's
though
so palpable.
Like they already had such a huge argument at the bar, and then it's still like everything that's said. It's just like immediately like you almost like jump and cringe when they.
It's really good. Yeah, I think it's a credit to the acting and direction, maybe even more than the writing, because this is all subtext. Like I don't think we're seeing these really on the nose dialogue moments where we see that these two hate each other, but in these performances, it's very clear.
Yes. And I think, and credit to the directing, a lot happened in this episode. A lot happens in really every episode.
Right.
And they do a very good job of keeping the structure clean and just kind of moving you along through the episode. I think Caitlin mentioned last week, I can't remember if it was on or off air, but that we kind of wish it was a longer format too.
Yeah.
You know, we always want more. And I've been watching it with my roommate. It ends, and each time we're like, no, we want a little more.
It goes by fast.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Huh.
Yeah, it's sort
And-
of that occupying that weird like half-hour drama space.
Yeah.
I feel like TV right now, including the Emmy, like the Television Academy, is very confused about how we talk about genre because like this is an example of a funny show that's pretty dramatic and is about 27 minutes. So it's like, well, that's what it is.
And for the Emmys, you can't be funny if you're longer than a half hour. Apparently.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not
Crazy
allowed.
Ex-Girlfriend, very serious show.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is full on drama.
SNL.
Yes. They're all very, very serious.
Yes.
And I mean, speaking of a lot happening in that fishing trip, not only do you have that dynamic going on, but we are all very shocked to find out Walt and Catherine, spoiler alert, guys, spoiler alert. Walt and Catherine are not having sex.
They are celibate. Yeah, I mean, I will say the guys. This is what I liked. This revealed the complicated relationship of all of their friendships. Joe, not the most likable guy, a well-intentioned, poorly executing dude. Yes. But he was the only one who really kind of like had Walt's back here. Like, it is kind of a funny pitch that like someone comes out with a very vulnerable and embarrassing sexual admission, and your reaction is to brag about how great your sex life is.
I do love that he just lost it at that point. Like he had so much tension building up for the other things like going on with the guys.
Yeah.
And then when he's just like, really?
Right.
I'm the only one who's gonna say like how messed up this is. 2 years? I love that he just throws his fishing rod.
I think fishing rod, Amy, yeah.
We're big campers
Yeah.
here.
I'm wearing a cardigan.
My shirt has a
An
hat
animal
of some sort on it.
That's kind of campy. It's natural.
Yeah, I think you would find that in woods.
In woods.
Anyways.
We'll leave it at that.
But yeah, I loved his reaction to it because he's genuine.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very genuine guy. Like you said, poorly executing on a lot of things, not quite in touch with all of his feelings, but he's genuine. He's there.
Definitely. And I sort of was interested in the way David Tennant chose to let this out of the bag. It's like something you can tell he's been holding on to. And I think he was sort of looking for some dude love there.
He was.
He didn't really get it.
He did not.
No.
He had two friends talk about their sex lives and another one yell at him.
Sorry, Walt.
Little rough going there.
Yes.
Before we get into the last segment, I do want to mention that our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. So from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we do need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. So if you're worried about any pesky notifications, also, don't be, because those are totally optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. And you can let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll make sure to thank you on air. But for now, thanks so much for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Hell yeah. Well said, Amy Maestri.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeff Cram. Thank you. So, I do want to go back into kind of going from, that bombshell that he just launched on them without anyone having any idea, into kind of Catherine's day with her son that turned into her having to confront Walt of shockingly, that he has porn on his iPad.
Drama and the McSorley-Jodell family. I do want to credit Jennifer Garner in this I Spy scene. This was like, if you ever wanted to like get inside the mind of Catherine McSorley-Jodell, I think this would be the scene to do it. And I think it's been interesting. People have been a bit mixed on Jennifer Garner in this, not necessarily because of her performance, but like just because it might not be the ideal matching of character and part. You know, there is a certain point to which casting is such an important component of good TV. And like Jennifer Garner, like truly is America's sweetheart, and she's being asked to be pretty unlikable, and sometimes it's hard. It's just, I like it because I think it brings an interesting empathy to what would be a very challenging character.
Yeah.
But this was a nice moment where we just got to kind of see an ugly passive-aggressive side of a mother who likes control.
Yes. Yeah, no, well said. To have her be like that with her son as they're just playing a game, like that does give you a really good kind of like view into the you know, whatever's going on.
Whatever's going on. Yeah.
And, you know, to your point about like how it's kind of tough with her being, you know, this unlikable character across from someone like Juliette Lewis, who is just nonstop like laughs and like fun and loose and like, and she has to be this really like, you know,
stick in the mud.
Yeah. So I think lots of credit to her. I'm very much enjoying her in this.
It's nice. It's different, which like any chance you get to see an actress do something new. I'm not sure I'm quite understanding the character yet, but I have a feeling a lot of that's going to come later in the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always like Jennifer Garner, and true of this all of these performances really I'm on board with, which is so important in a show like this.
Yeah, with such a big cast and like so many strong characters,
right.
kind
and
of
so little
taking,
plot, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's very much like just you're watching a camping trip.
And we're here for that. We're not here to learn the twists and turns of why the money was stolen, you know? We're here to watch great performances.
Yes.
So,
yeah, exactly. Well said. And so so when she finds the iPad and has to confront him, it goes awry a bit. So when
I saw your search history, and it's not all lawnmowers and Civil War factoids.
Again, the specifics. We talk about the specifics in comedy. It's
good
all
writing.
It's very good writing.
Yeah.
Poor Walt. Poor Walt. And then it's funny when he did think that they were about to have sex, and he just kind of like sat back down after. It was just kind of like, say something. Like, and then when he did, you know, now we know why he doesn't, because he gets slapped in the face.
This was an interesting moment. It's like, you know, I think it was very easy for us to blame Catherine McSorley-Jodell in this situation for their inactive sex life, but I didn't get the impression in that moment that Walt's sexual instincts were necessarily the most on the ball, you know?
Yeah. So, disclaimer, men, if you see a woman unbutton one button, don't assume she's ready to have sex with you.
Yeah, and I was really glad actually that the show did this, because I think, you know, in the current climate, not only of Hollywood, but just a very, very important rise of women's voices in media, it was nice to see that it wasn't all the old hag who's, you know, not allowing her husband to have sex.
Yeah.
It was nice that we had this sort of questionable, assaulty moment, and he was held accountable for those actions. I just think in the current climate, like, it is important that men are vocal about consent and learn how to read these moments in a way that isn't predatory. And even for a married couple, it was like kind of tough to watch this.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh wow, even just after that, like, that should be a pretty clear signal for two strangers,
right?
That it's not that's not like a green light, let's go.
Let's jump
especially
on top.
for
like a panda.
For someone that you're married. Yeah, what was that line? I don't want to be mounted like a zoo panda.
Yeah, zoo panda. Yeah. So Walt's got a lot to learn, I think.
He does.
You know?
He does. I feel like I'm interested to see where it goes next, because we're starting to see more like where he is just getting so frustrated, but he's obviously not really talking to her about it.
Yes.
And you could see how disturbed she was too afterwards, because it's like, of course she probably wants to, but she's got so much going on up there, and like we don't know how much pain she's actually in, or how much of it's just kind of, you know, she's being a hypochondriac about things. So I think it was a really kind of a touching scene in a weird way at the end, where you got to kind of see through their walls and see them both, like, why they're both so upset about the situation in different ways.
Yeah, I think the show was pretty fair. Like, I think both of them were sort of equally implicated in the lack of intimacy in their marriage.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Well, so I know I'm very excited to see more. I guess not so much I want to see the conflict build. I think right now we've seen 3 episodes of very much this kind of like the same level where it'll like peak real quick. We'll get a little bit something and then it'll come back down.
Been planting a lot of seeds.
Yeah. So I'm ready. And I feel like now, I mean, it's at this point, you know, we're 3 episodes in. So we're almost halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So I feel like these next few episodes might kind of go on an upswing of some conflict.
Tension, plot. You know, something. I'm enjoying the show.
Same.
And there's been a couple times I wondered how this would feel as a staged play, because it is pretty much one location, and I don't know, it's so actor forward.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed. I think they're using the medium of TV well. I've seen some nice camera choices and interesting direction, and
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, I think definitely props on the directing.
Yeah.
I've really, really enjoyed just how it looks, how the episodes have been flowing.
Yes.
I think the structure of them, like we said, even though it's been light on plot, it's still fun to follow.
I always like the music cues in Lena Dunham and Jenny Connor's show. Just like the little transitional music they use is just interesting. I noticed, especially with girls, I feel like that show changed the way, even this sounds weirdly specific, but that like shows like this transition in and out of scenes, like Transparent does some of this too. And yeah, it's all working. It's all hanging together pretty well.
True.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
I like that a lot too.
So, I think I would love to know, who was your acting MVP in this episode?
Yes. I'm going to give it to Chris Sullivan as Joe this week. And we've been talking about this was kind of a good Joe episode. We've sort of seen his interiority with his earnestness and wanting to make things better, but his complete inability to do that. And I actually know people like this. One person specifically whose name I would never say on air, but who I'm going to show my wife this episode, and I'm sure she'll know right away who I'm talking about. So I want to give him credit. He's someone whose character could be accused of being unlikable, but I think Chris Sullivan's bringing a real humanity to it. So props to you, Chris Sullivan, also from This Is Us, if you watch that show.
Yes.
Toby?
And I am going to agree with you. I am on board the Chris Sullivan train this week. I think you saw a lot of levels to him this week.
Yeah.
I mean, just that pure rage in the fishing scene, and like when he tried to apologize, even though it was not good, you could see where it was coming from a good place. Right down to the end where at first you think he was going to blow by her, Carlene, without noticing the haircut. And you just kind of went, oh, come on, be better. And then he turned around, you look nice. And again, even just that little moment, just the way that he delivered it, and you can tell, again, it's all coming from a good place with him. He's just kind of a disaster.
Right.
And I think he portrayed it beautifully this week. I was a big fan watching him.
Cool. I love that we're on the same page. Nice. And with that, I also have a camping story.
Ooh.
So this is a new segment. It's sort of a scary story. So if we wanted to get some scary music, I know that's a last minute request, but I'm going to put I'm going to light a fire under my producer. Just generic scary music is fine. All right. This comes from Reddit. This is from Keithic, who's a Reddit user. I love in today's current internet age. This tweet was from Funny Chick 302 from Nebraska. Chick is spelled with 1 C. Like that's like our new on a professionally produced media show. I'm like, Keithic on Reddit. Here we go. All right. When I was younger, probably like 10 or 11, I went camping with my family. I'll just get right into it. It was about 1 or 2 in the morning and I couldn't really sleep. The tent me and my brother were in was really hot and very uncomfortable. Anyway, while I was trying to go to bed, I heard a very faint whimper. I tried to ignore it because I figured I was just tired. Our campsite was along a road with many other camps nearby. But the whimper started to get louder, and then it turned into crying. I heard footsteps outside our tent and a girl crying her eyes out. Now let me tell you, it didn't go faint. It got louder and louder. It remained in the same spot the entire time. That's so important because it indicates that she was looking at our tent site. Fucking crying. It gets worse. Then it all turned into a full-on scream, and for just a few seconds it cut out. When she started screaming, my brother woke up. We both looked at each other and just got all the pillows and our stuff and buried our heads underneath them. She screamed for the next 2 hours. I couldn't sleep at all that night. I'm just glad we left the next morning. So we tried this segment out this week, guys. We've been doing our best to brainstorm, so let us know what you thought of the segment. We can share a new camping story each week from random Reddit users, if that sounds like a good use of your and our time.
If you have a weird camping story too, put it in the comments on our show. Let us know, and we'll talk about your weird camping adventures. Because obviously we have a lot of camping. Like we're both.
You know what? I
both such
actually
campers.
do have one camping story that I would love to share. I was a camp counselor. I don't know if you'll be shocked to learn that growing up for a while, and I've got a couple. So I'll save a couple for our last couple weeks.
All right. I did Girl Scouts for like 2 months.
Nice.
So I think I might be able to help out too.
Yes. You can at least bring some delicious cookies into studio.
Correct. I will buy those.
Yes.
Some predictions.
Yes. Well, and we have a little
next
news and
week.
gossip too, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right. We
Just
do.
a little quick news and gossip. Jennifer Garner was spotted at the World Series game, which is a baseball sport. And she was actually there with Ben Affleck, who is her ex-husband, of course. But it's nice to hear. This is one thing that's nice. I think sometimes Hollywood paints divorces as so ugly and inherently unworkable. But Life and Style, where I found this article, was very deliberate to point out that Affleck has no hard feelings about Garner moving on. A source says that Ben and Jen have immense love and respect for each other. They still co-parent together, and they will always put that first. He will always be supportive of any decisions that she makes and ultimately just wants her to be happy. So, good for them. But that being said, Jen is dating someone new. John Miller, the CEO of a tech startup. It's been about 6 months between the two of them, but an insider says that they're moving pretty quickly and doing very well. So I could see Jen dating. I was gonna say I could see Jen dating some tech nerd, but then I thought of Walt on camping, and that isn't going so well.
It's not going great for them.
Hopefully, Jen is better with a nerd than Catherine McSorley-Jodell is.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
And I do think that is a nice story to hear. They're bonding over the baseball and getting back to being able to be friends. Hopefully.
Yeah, I like both Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner a lot. I think Ben Affleck's a really talented filmmaker. I think Jennifer Garner's an amazing actress. And so I like that they're approaching their divorce with maturity. And, things don't always work out, but if you put the kids first, I don't know, it's just nice to see.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Well, now, shall we get into some predictions for
We
next
shall.
week?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions. Amy, I'm going to be honest. I did not watch the Next Time on Camping.
How dare you?
I know. I like to be surprised.
Well, you can be surprised right before you watch the Next Time on Camping.
I don't know if your logic is adding up.
I think it's very logical.
Here's what I'll say. I think that the proposal is not going to go well.
Yes. Yeah.
It's pretty clear to me that Jandis is potentially excited about a marriage, which I will say kind of surprised me. Jandis doesn't seem like the know someone for 3 weeks and get married type.
Yeah, I feel like she's very, I don't feel like she's into marriage in general.
Right.
I would have assumed. So
Another nice twist from Lena and Jenny.
Yes.
But that's my biggest prediction is that Jandis and Miguel's impending nuptials aren't good.
Yes. I can see an implosion there at some point. And I can also see, I think in the next 2 episodes is where we're going to figure out more about, get a better grasp on why Catherine is the way that she is. I think we're going to get more than one of those little nuggets that we've been getting lately in the next episode to 2 episodes.
We're ready for it.
I am too. Yeah. We are definitely very, very ready for it.
Yes.
Well, Jeff, another great episode.
Yeah.
Tell us where we can find you on social media in the meantime.
Thank you, Amy, and very well moderated on your end. Guys, my name is Jeff. If you want to find me online, you can do that on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham. Excuse me, I apologize. I had some soup before this. I'm just going to be honest for our listeners. I want to let you guys know that if you're into sort of small hidden gems on TV like this, I'm actually doing a segment on AfterBuzz called In Case You Missed It, where I'm going to let you guys know about the sort of hidden gems on TV and Netflix that you haven't seen. Quickly, I'll recommend it because I think fans of this show would like it. There's a movie that just came out called Private Life, directed by Tamara Jenkins. Did you watch it?
Yes.
So good.
Love it.
I think Amy and I have similar tastes with this kind of stuff. So, and hopefully our audience does too. That's In Case You Missed It. It's a quick 2 minutes a week where I tell you what you didn't know you needed to know.
Very nice. And there are a lot of those gems out there.
Yes.
So definitely tune into that, guys. And I'm Amy Maestri. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Amy Maestri. We will see you guys next week, episode 4.
Bye y'all.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.